If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
We've been asked to interview them, so we just wanted to make sure that we came here with a really honest interview and we asked the questions that nobody else would. Amy, your career has suddenly exploded worldwide. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How did you get into the Illuminati?
I don't know what you're talking about, I guess.
Bill, you've been famous for a while now.
No.
Do you have to sponsor Amy for her Illuminati
No.
membership?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't.
Bill and I are not
We're not members of
the elite, the
no,
Pentagrid that meets
we don't
by...
do. Hey, and don't start that.
Don't use that part.
Don't
Don't use that part.
Okay, we won't.
please, because
That's one thing.
I'm totally comfortable.
Okay.
Cool.
So Amy,
I don't know.
Yeah. Anything you want to know?
when Judd Apatow called you in for a meeting, were you surprised that he asked you to come to the Hollywood Hills on the night of the blood moon, and when you got there, that there was a circle of Hollywood executives standing around a pentagram of salt, jerking off, wearing goat masks, and that they asked you to fuck a squirrel?
I don't know where you're getting your information.
Real.
That's not something that happened. That is such a strange thing I wasn't a part of. And if there are pictures of me there are other people that look like me.
Yeah.
And yes, I was in the hills that night. And yes, I did come home and I did have a lot of
dating
squirrel hair on me.
You were dating a squirrel.
I'm dating a squirrel.
She's dating a squirrel, and it has nothing to do with
I
anything
am
else.
not
Her boyfriend's dating a squirrel.
in a thing with the Queen, the Vatican, the
please.
Gettys, the Rothschild, and the Colonel Sanders before he went heads up.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
What is it?
Come on, Jimmy. Seriously, the time is up. People are hip to this kind of stuff. I'm here tonight to blow the lid off it, to be the whistleblower. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it, and it is the all-mocking tongue. It's the symbol of the all-mocking tongue. And I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like, for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh, and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on. You know, and they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things. And, you know, look at him trying to it's hilarious.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Humor is the easiest and most used tactic by the elites to keep people trapped in their mind control. As people become more and more awake, as they start to see things and start questioning it, if they start researching the New World Order or the Illuminati, they'll be bombarded with articles about what a joke it is, mocking conspiracy theorists, quoting, quote unquote, debunking us. Celebrities like Jim Carrey making fun of it and mocking it, going, Illuminati, acting like the losers and rejects that they are, who would never be in those positions of fame and fortune and beloved if they weren't force-fed on people. See, in the real world, nobody would love or care about these people the way that they want to be loved, admired, and cared about. The only reason that they are is because they're forced down everyone's throat and they're under mind control from the mainstream media. These people are really just talentless hacks who continue to do the bidding of the New World Order. Now, you can see, even in something as simple as this interview with Amy Schumer and Bill Hader, these are all common things that we see, right? These pictures where people start drawing pyramids on their bodies. This is a common, I don't even understand how anyone could find it funny, even if you thought that all of this stuff wasn't real and wasn't going on. Nonetheless, they just start drawing pyramids on people and they go, look, Illuminati exposed, look. And people laugh it off, not realizing that they're slaves who are trapped, who are servants to these people, who are being led directly to hell. But all one has to do, and that's why I'm doing this story, is just Google Illuminati. Okay, go Google it in the news and look at the types of stories that come up. They're all deliberately here. They're all here to deflect attention off of the severity of what's going on. The top story, the accidental invention of the Illuminati conspiracy, which I'll go over in a little bit. You scroll down, the Outback Steakhouse and the Illuminati, Twitter investigates. I covered that and specifically covered it to tell everybody out there that this is what they do to discredit us. That's why stories like that go viral. Always stories like this. I've covered so many in the last year. About a guy this guy here, the latest stabbing suspect, paranoid about the Illuminati, right? Just like we had a woman who was arrested for being paranoid about Sandy Hook and harassing one of the fathers. These are all common themes. Crazy people, murderers, right? The guy couldn't have been driven by something else. They have to mention the Illuminati as the reasoning that he stabbed somebody. I mean, it's a total joke. The Illuminati, Satan, numerology, conspiracy theories, right? The French fries or the onion rings here with the pentagram drawn inside. Illuminati leaders, ? Now Angela Merkel makes that sign, right? I've covered that. That's the triangle of power sign that these elites use in photographs. All of this stuff, it's all there. You're never going to find a story like anything that I do or anyone else out there does. It's all going to be stories to discredit it and mock it. And that's how they keep people enslaved. Look at some of these other ones. I mean, Illuminati glass dab rigs. And these celebrities, again, like Amy Schumer and Jim Carrey and many of them, they will bring this up on TV. There's a reason that they do. Because they're aware, they keep their finger on the pulse. They monitor all of us all the time. What we're searching, what we're researching, looking up, whatever, what we're talking about. They're listening to us. And they know, since people are waking up, that what they have to do is deflect off of that. So they'll have Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert wearing tinfoil hats and doing this stuff and making a mockery of it. That prevents anyone who is close to waking up from actually waking up and digging deeper. Because they just go, yeah, you're right. It is stupid. Why did I look into that stuff? Crazy conspiracy theorists. These are, the rich people on TV, the famous people. They've got to know more and be better. And that's how this continues to go. So all of the stuff that you'll see. I mean, look, I want to join the Illuminati. Young Nigerian man cries out. Bo Dallas discusses his belief in aliens and the Illuminati, right? They'll link stuff like that. They'll link reptilian aliens with Illuminati, Sasquatch. In reality, we're talking about the definition of what a conspiracy theory is that nobody ever mentions. Okay? They always just think it means the Loch Ness Monster. They always just think it means, something absolutely over the top, like the Inquirer will report on. But a conspiracy theory, by definition, is a belief that some covert but influential organization is responsible for a circumstance or events, and they're controlling events and control. Now, why would that be so far-fetched for people to think? That there couldn't be people who seek money, seek power, seek control. These are all traits that people have, unfortunately, and a lot of them don't control those traits, and they want to become elites. They want to become part of this. But the fact that people think it's a big joke is because this is what they do over and over and over as often as they possibly can. And there's a reason for it. They're afraid. That's the truth. They are afraid. They wouldn't be talking about it unless they had to deflect off of it. Just like stories that came out about Obama and the occult and Satanism and Hillary. They bring attention to it. They're talking about Sandy Hook being a hoax because they have to laugh it off and be like, oh, we have people calling Sandy Hook a hoax. How dare they? And people get mad and they go, oh, how dare they? Without ever researching it because they just believe the story they heard in the news. I'll read a little bit from this article presented by the BBC, which says it's the conspiracy theory to dwarf all conspiracy theories, a smorgasbord of every other intrigue under the sun. The Illuminati are the supposed overlords controlling the world's affairs, operating secretly as they seek to establish a new world order. That entire paragraph is just a trigger paragraph to make it sound insane and crazy. If they actually talked like I talk and just broke it down from a common standpoint and said, well, what are these secret organizations and why are there Freemason lodges? What's going on there? Don't, and they'll immediately give you the answer that it's a fraternity, a brotherhood of guys who just want to drink beer and watch baseball. Right? Just like if you ask about the Talmud or any of the teachings inside there, you get a quick deflection of being an anti-you-know-what. Sem. I'm not saying the word because even that, I know the bots can read and trigger and demonetize and block the video from being viewed. Deflection, humor, constantly used. And that's what this article goes on to do. You could just go through it. You could see how it talks about films like Angels and Demons. And it says, Angels and Demons have brought the concept of the Illuminati into popular consciousness. Okay? There's a law that the elites have to follow. This stuff has to be revealed. God isn't hiding anything from us. It's the fact that it's right in front of our faces, but nobody sees it. That's what they've got control over. Because they have this thick level of mind control where you don't look for signs. You don't look for symbols. You're naive and you believe in this stuff. And they want to keep you distracted, even though this stuff is right in front of your faces. So they will talk about this in movies and desensitize people from what it really is. Oh, like the movie with Tom Cruise, like the book, The Da Vinci Code. Right? That's what they constantly say. Talk about demonic possession. Oh, like The Exorcist. That's what they'll always say. They're always prepared to deflect as they've been programmed to. It just goes on to say a book, in a nutshell, a parody text for a parody faith conjured up by enthusiastic anarchists and thinkers to bid its readers to worship a goddess of chaos. I mean, this just goes on to talk about that, the mindset of order and chaos. It talks about the dollar bill, which is the most common thing, which they'll never really answer. They'll just go, oh, the dollar bill's got the pyramid on it. But it's, it must be a conspiracy. Like, they never really will break it down and say why it's there. And people won't say we should have it removed. And then, of course, the easiest thing for them to do is to take Jay-Z and take Beyonce and hold up, show them holding up the pyramid sign and say, oh, it means that Beyonce and her husband are in this secret society. That's the stuff where people hear it and they just go, oh, please. But let's talk about the Federal Reserve. Let's talk about secret societies that exist, where even John F. Kennedy, whether you believe he was one of them or not, we know his family is one of the bloodlines, but even addressed secret societies existing. Let's talk about that stuff, because people don't even know about the Federal Reserve. They just print money. I mean, what we're seeing over on the other side of the country, how they're trying to expand a specific country and make sure that they're all operating under the Federal Reserve, that there's not independent banks. This is all what it's really about. Just holding up a pyramid sign and doing this stuff. I talk about this constantly so that people can see this, because it's the easiest way to start waking up. You're not going to start waking somebody up talking about pedophilia because they don't want to hear it. And some people who are awake refuse to even talk about it because it's too much for them to stomach. And I understand that completely. It's very difficult to stomach. It'll raise your blood pressure pretty quick. You'll want to punch a hole in the wall pretty fast. But again, just remember this. And when talking to people and trying to wake them up, it's to say, listen. They're constantly talking about the Illuminati on TV and all these places because they know repetition is the key to mind control, right? Repetition is the key. Now, what they're doing is they're using reverse psychology and they're using humor and they're using it repetitively, right? Because the only time they mention the Illuminati or the New World Order is cracking jokes about us being tinfoil hat wearers, trying to link us up with Trump, how Trump's one of us, and Trump with the birth certificate they constantly meant. These are all seeds that they've put there specifically and using repetition consistently. That's why this term is always out there and you always hear people speak on it. This is how they stop the awakening from happening. So when you understand mind control, just think about it. Explain it to somebody you're trying to wake up who thinks that it's a big joke, right? And show them the constant celebrities, the constant people bringing it up and then going, shh, oh yeah, we're a part of a secret society. Oh. Throw in the Mason lodges and how every town has one. But bring up something in your life and say, tell somebody something. And then, you could just sit there and just say, listen to how something's spoken, right? Say you're a guy who, just say a murderer, right? Say a husband just secretly is a mass murderer. Say he's Ted Bundy, right? And he's sitting at the dinner table. And his wife's like, have you ever murdered somebody? And he went, no. Have I ever murdered somebody? What would everybody at the table do? Yeah, who has he ever murdered somebody? Say they're playing never have I ever or something, right? And that was the question. All you have to do is use sarcasm and humor like that, and people just will go, right. Did you do this? No. Oh, yeah, I did that. And people go, yeah, you're right. It's crazy. It's the easiest way to deflect. And that's what they constantly are doing. And that's why when you Google search stuff like this, it's buried. Real truth about this is buried. You're not going to find out about the pedo rings, about the elites, about the Crawley worship. You're not going to find out about the books that they read, the Talmud. None of that. You're not going to find it. What you're going to find is, conspiracy theory about Beyonce's twins. You're going to find articles that just say, onion rings, Outback, now connected to the Illuminati. And it's ridiculous, but that's how they keep people suppressed and believing in this system. And if people realize that and they said, you know what? I need to look at things and cut through the crap and not let people use humor when asked a question or when trying to find facts. Instead look at the other way and go, why are they talking about this all the time if it's not real? Why are they bringing attention to it and then making fun of it? Right? Do any of them ever talk about it as if it's real? Because even if you're somebody who believes, well, it was real and it's not anymore, well, you don't even hear the celebrities talk about that or any of these people who mention it on TV. It's just constantly humor around it. Constantly them mocking their symbols in front of us with the all-seeing eye and the 666 and the pyramid, right? So in talking to people and trying to awaken them, make sure that you let them know, listen, mind control is about repetition. That's why we enjoy certain things. That's why songs get stuck in your head. That's the easiest point to make. You hear a song, you're like, I hate this song, right? I can't stand any mainstream music, but you don't think there's days where I wake up and some stupid Katy Perry song will be stuck in my head? And I'll go, oh. And you know why it's there? It'll be there because I did a video on it and I had to listen and go through it 5 or 6 times. That's why it's in my head. That's why people get attached to songs and music and other things that they don't realize they like this for a reason. They like that for a reason. They dress like this for a reason. They just tell you, well, you're making an independent choice in being yourself because they give you various fake options to choose from. But they want you to think that you're free and all of this stuff is a decision you're making on your own because they don't want you to think mind control is real. They're programming all of us. Even us who are awake, we've been programmed throughout our life. There's some stuff we still can't break away from that we enjoy. That's because of the repetition and the conditioning from it. So just as important as repetition is, remember that humor plays a huge factor in mind control because it is the easiest way to deflect, constantly deflect, and use it with repetition. So that's why Stephen Colbert every week will do a segment on conspiracy theorists. That's why they'll now be, talking about Alex Jones, who's playing his role in this. That's exactly what his COINTELPRO side of this is. It's all come out now. We've all known, but now he's, you can't tell me he's got videos trending on YouTube. You can't tell, they want that out there. Obviously they do, but I mean, if he was giving anything that mattered, it wouldn't be out there. They're all talking about him now. He's like the face of this for a reason because they knew that this was coming. And they had to have him prepared to be the guy. So whenever they hear about, I get comments all the time. What do you think? You're Alex Jones? What are you, the next Alex Jones? From people who are zombies who show up at some of these videos about, their favorite singer dying and questioning how they died. What are you, trying to be like Alex Jones? We already have enough Alex Joneses, that kind of stuff. Because they're under mind control. And that's what they want. They want you to always, all of us to be lumped in with Jones, the alt-right. Again, I'm just going on a rant off topic, but I want everyone out there to remember that with humor. Question it. When you hear them bring stuff up and go, whoa, why are they talking about that? And then crack jokes, realize that that's what they're trying to do to everybody out there. They're trying to get them to laugh it off, to think it's crazy, and they're planting seeds through repetition and humor over and over and over and over again. And that's why it's so difficult to wake people up to the nightmare reality that we live in. I thank you all for listening to today's show. I hope this information helps. Just always remember, I know I touch on it, how they use humor to deflect, but in going through the search on Google and seeing all the articles that come up when mentioning the Illuminati, I felt it was necessary to just point it out again. Because it's a way for you to point it out to other people too and help wake them up and say, well, why then? Why do they constantly address it and mock it? If it's such a big joke and it's not real and it's ridiculous and we're such a small percent of people, which we are, the ones who are awake, why are they bringing it up on Jimmy Kimmel Live? Why are they bringing it up on the Colbert Report? Why is Amy Schumer talking about it? Why is Jim Carrey talking about it? Why are they all mentioning it? Even Kim Kardashian tweets about it or has tweeted. Think about that. Would you bring something up if it was so ridiculous? I mean, the mindset should be, why bring attention to something like that if it's not true? And why are they consistently bringing attention to it then? Because they're concerned and they want to lead people in the opposite direction. So they have to put their shield up, which is deflection. And the easiest way is through humor. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.